First of all, I remember the first night I went, it was January 95, and just going around the circle and everyone saying what had brought them to PSA. And I was the newcomer, so I was the last person, and I just remember thinking, I'm in the right place. I found the right place, and I'd been looking a long time, and it was nice to hear that other people were having similar difficulties that I could identify with and that could understand what I was going through.
It helped us to regroup and focus on our relationship, that before, long after everything was said and done, we would still be a couple, and that our priority could be us as a couple, instead of feeling guilty that you're starting to focus on yourselves, so then somehow you don't care about your child. So that's what PSA helped us with.
PSA taught me to set the boundaries, the healthy boundaries, to know that it was okay to set those boundaries in a home where we felt safe, and to know that I still was a good parent, and that I could set these boundaries and let her suffer the consequences of her actions and behaviors. And the verbal abuse was also a big thing in our home, where I couldn't tolerate it anymore.
PSA for me, when I first started going, I could not live from one day to the next. Whew. Our house was so horrible to be in. So when I started group, it was like, it gave me a reason to survive from one week to the next. And just to have that support of other people going through the same stuff, and realizing that you're not alone, that there are good, normal people with problems with kids like this, it actually helped me to survive.
I was basically doing things that were making the situation worse without knowing that. And also learning, I think through the life lists, basically where to take a stand, what to back off on, and what issues to take a stand on. And also that I didn't have to react immediately. I think when we're very frustrated with teens' behavior, tend to react. And I learned that I didn't have to make a decision immediately. If he was asking me if he could do something, I would turn it around. I learned through PSA to say, well, how could you convince me that, that would be a good idea for you to do?
The fact is that you have the service of support all year long, at times when, like summer holidays for parents or Christmas break when school isn't on. Those are the most traumatic times for a parent of an acting up teen, and PSA parents were there, and the groups were there, and still are.
I remember the night that our daughter left home for the first time, and she was gone for 4 days right before Christmas. We had a PSA meeting that night, and I'm very grateful that we did, because we went and we weren't alone in our feelings of hopelessness there.
There's a lot of shame involved when your kids are not doing what they really should be doing. So that was something you learn to just sort of bring out, and others accept the problems. It was a fabulous group.
I tell people that you need to be determined to, when they're 30, to still be alive and well, and having them over for Thanksgiving dinner. And that one of the ways to ensure that you're looking after your own health and your own relationships with the rest of the family members is what PSA will help you with.
Our daughter came home one day, and I don't know what she was trying us on for size for something, and we just sat there and said no, and we didn't believe her, and on and on and on. And she got so angry that she started using foul language and telling us what a stupid family this was, and on and on and on. And I sat back and I actually laughed because I thought, you know what, it's changing. Because I'm not the one that's really, really angry. She is the one, and she could sense then that she couldn't change us, and she was absolutely furious that this family was not one she could manipulate anymore. So I knew then that this stuff worked, and much as the child might not change, we learn to look after ourselves, I think, and get our relationship back on stream, plus the relationship with the other two kids that were suffering through all this, and you have no energy for them, none.
Often you hear it said, well, where are the parents when kids get into trouble? And I've often stood up for parents, including myself, and said, well, they're probably at a PSA meeting, or they're probably phoning around trying to find this teen. They're probably sitting up waiting for this teen. They're probably driving around looking for this teen, because I've done all of the above. And I've met very concerned parents and very caring parents, and basically what they want to do is get their life back to, quote, normal, and have a relationship with their teen, and minimize the conflict that's going on in their homes.
We have a good relationship today. We can talk openly and honestly. And today I know that our daughter has to go through her own journey. And when she's ready, she can deal with the past. So I'm just really honored that we do have success stories on both of our teenagers today.
2 years ago on June 16th, she called to say that she needed to be well and that she needed the support of her family to do that. So she has been in recovery and in another organization, but she's been in a program and is working full-time now and is embarking on her education at this time, and has been clean and sober for 2 years last June 16th.
He told me one day, a couple of years ago, it wasn't that long ago, that he didn't blame me for any of the choices that he'd made. So I thought I'd really arrived when he said that to me. I took that as a great compliment.
Some days when I think back to where we were at, I can't believe that we've come this far, and that we do have a good relationship with all of our kids. So I'm very happy to say that.
No, I think that we always approach our family problems with the fact that as much as you'd like to discipline them, you never really completely closed the door. And that door was always open, no matter how small it was. And I believe, due to that fact alone, that our children have really started to enjoy us. But this came after PSA, and they're all successful, they're all earning a living, and they're not involved with the law like they used to be. And it's just a joyous approach to being able to say everybody comes through it, and some make it, and ours fortunately do.